Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new video, and today we are going to be doing a Scratch tutorial. So basically, what is Scratch? Scratch is kind of like a way you can code. So when you first go on Scratch, you will probably see this and it will be quite confusing. So I can tell you where everything is. First off, this is the canvas. Basically, this is where your game is. This is where your game is and where your game gets executed. Here as you can see my mouse, here is like the sprites thing is. So sprites are kind of like objects that can do certain actions. And here is the backdrop or stage. They're kind of like the background. And they don't really do much. You can change it, but other than that, they don't really do much. Anyway, I have no idea why my sprite name is in Chinese, but here you can rename the sprite, do its X and Y, and its size. X is basically this is X, and it changes, and Y is up and down. So X is left and right, and Y is up and down. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff here. And now here, this is the main place. This is where you put the code, the instructions. Here is where you do like all the sprite, what the sprite can look like for animations. And here's kind of all the sounds. So like, meow. Yeah, so this is a cat and you can do all of this stuff. We're mostly going to focus on the code. So there's a bunch of things here. Basically, that's where all the code instructions are. This is how it works. You start off with an event thing. Basically, events, and then you place a code. You place the first code here, and then you place the second code here. So the first code is wait 1 second, and the second code is move 10 steps. We are gonna move 10 steps. We'll move 10 steps to the right. So it's gonna wait 1 second and move 10 steps, and that's our code. And basically, motion has a bunch of stuff. This will turn 15 degrees. This will go to a random position. This will go to here. And basically, you can design all of these codes based on what you want. In the looks, you can say hello for 2 seconds. So I press the mark, and it waits 1 second, and it says hello for 2 seconds. And then you can also switch the costume to a random Chinese name again for some reason. Switch costume. And it will switch to this costume. I'm just going to name it 1. This will be costume 1, and this will be costume 2. And when it starts, switch to costume 1, and then it will wait 1 second, and then switch to costume 2. This is costume 1 and this is costume 2. And it's at costume 1, and then 1 second later it's at costume 2. Then you've got show, means it will appear, and hide, it will just literally disappear. So yeah, the reason you don't see costume 2 is because between these blocks there are no time. So basically there's 1 second here, but if we add 1 second, it will switch to costume 2 1 second before. But if you don't add the 1 second, because it's still hidden, we still have to add show at the start. So it will show, wait 1 second, move, and then 1 second it'll hide. Okay, now we got sound. Sound is pretty self-explanatory. You just play a sound. With this Chinese name again, let's say meow. And basically, we're going to show. I'm going to make it wait 1 second, and you can change this. You can change this. You can make it wait 5 seconds. You can make it wait 5 seconds. So I'll wait for 5 seconds, and it'll be like that, and change, and like that. Basically, it will do that. Okay, another thing is you might be confused why it's costume 2 at the start and why it's not costume 1. That is actually because of one thing. That is because when it starts, it won't switch to costume 1, it will switch to what it is currently. And because we had costume 2 at the end, it will stay at costume 2. So yeah. Another event is when space is clicked, or any key in fact. So you can do this, and it won't do anything, but when we press space, it will do the things. And then this can be done for quite a lot of things. Now we're moving on to things. There's a repeat thing. Now what is a repeat thing? Now if we do the repeat thing and put it in here, it will repeat everything and do it 10 times. So if we put the code and put it in here, it'll do that 10 times. And when we press space, and it'll do it 10 times. As you can see, it is doing it. And now it's going to be doing it 10 times. We're not going to wait for it to do 10 times. Now, you've also can repeat it forever, and you just use this forever function. And this is an if function. Now what is an if function? Basically, an if function uses a triangle thing. And a triangle thing are conditions. Conditions are basically when it is true, then it will do the code that's in here. So we have a bunch of conditions. So let's say if 1 is equal to 1, then it will do it. And of course 1 is equal to 1, so it will do it. But we probably all know that 1 equals to 1. So what can this be used for? Well, there's a thing. So here's an example. You can ask, what's the password? It's the password. And it will ask what the password is, and you write it here. And if the password and the answer you have given is equals to maybe the password 123, then it can do something. Of course, it can do something. So it can say, hello, the password is correct. Word is correct. So, and when we press space, and then we will write 1, 2, 3. And if 1, 2, 3, if the answer we given, which is 1, 2, 3 equals 1, 2, 3, it will do everything here. So let's enter. And as you can see, the password is correct. And now it's going to be doing everything that we just say it will. So it'll be doing all that weird stuff. Okay. So we have quite a lot of stuff. There's quite a lot of blocks. And the last block we're going to do is variables. So variables store data. It stores necessary data. For example, if you're going to have to get this answer and keep it for a longer time, we have to create a variable. So we're going to give it a variable name. Let's give it variable. Okay. And now we can do a bunch of stuff for variables. We can set the variable, what the data is going to be storing, to a certain thing. So for example, we can set the variable to the answer, and then instead of comparing the answer, we can replace it with the variable. And the result will still be the same because the variable will always be to the answer after the password is at. So we're going to do this. Press space, say the password, and because the variable, as you can see, is 123, and it will appear, and it will appear. But of course, it's not going to say the password is correct. That is because the thing is hidden. So what can we do? When we start, we can do show, and we can remove the show here. That will make it quite useful. So we turn it on, press space, 1, 2, 3, and yes, the password will be correct. Then, we can have multiple sprites, multiple codes. So let's create a new sprite. Let's see what sprite. We're gonna take a pre-selected sprite, but you can make your own by drawing it or uploading a photo. Okay, let's write a car. Let's take this. So, when the game starts, we're gonna do repeat 100 times, and we're gonna do a motion. Change x by 1. That means it will do it 100 times and change x by 1. And as you can see, it's gonna do this until x has been changed 100 times. Now, because it's quite small, 100 times will only be a tiny distance. So let's repeat. Let's ask the user how much the car should move. How much should the car move? And then repeat. Let's set the variable to answer, and then repeat the variable, which is already set to the answer time, change x by 1. And then after it is done, it should say, we moved, but I want to add how many steps it has moved. Well, that is quite easy. We can just use the join. Basically, it will join things. You can join 100 and 100, and it will show 100. And these circle, you can place it in here. And then it will say 100, 100, 100. And this can be handy for putting variables together. So we can say, we moved. The car moved, and then we can add another join. Make sure to add a space in between steps. And say it for 2 seconds. How much should the car move? Let's say 100. It will move 100. And then say the car moved 100 steps. So that will be great. Anyway, I think we're done with the tutorial here. So I hope you had a great day. If you didn't, I hope this video made you better. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.